I'm Eric Hayden with the National Weather Service in Morehead City. Whether you've lived across eastern North Carolina your whole life or you recently moved here, please take the time to watch this video on hurricane safety. You never know when the next storm may hit. One of the first tips this hurricane season is following official sources of information. Our website, weather.gov/Morehead City, is a great place to start. Here, you can find current forecast information and warnings and anything tropical related by clicking on the tropical icon. We have the latest on any potential or current storms, preparedness information, and the latest storm tracks. You can find it all here. Bookmark this page as your first stop for information. From our main page, you will be able to find a special page totally dedicated to you on how to prepare. Evacuation zone information such as know your zone, what to pack in your hurricane kit, to all of the risks that are possible with any tropical system, all on this website. We understand many of you get information from social media. No problem. We're on social media as well. Whether it's Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, or Instagram, we've got you covered. Just search NWS Morehead City. Look for specific, concise information along with short videos on what to expect when storms approach our coast. One last resource of information that you can also find from our local page is our friends at the National Hurricane Center. You're probably familiar with the forecast path or cone map. Please note that this only shows where the most likely path of just the center of the storm will be. It does not show all of the areas that will be impacted. A hurricane is not a dot on the map. Impacts occur well away from the center, so if you're anywhere near this path map, you should be paying attention. Whenever you see this video, we hope you are preparing for hurricane season. Whether it's finalizing your hurricane kit or making a plan on where to go if you need to evacuate, you need to think about this now. This graph shows that the peak of hurricane season is around September 10th. We have a long season here in eastern North Carolina, with past storms occurring as early as May and lasting well into the fall. Don't let your guard down. Don't be unprepared. Our proximity to the coast makes our area vulnerable to storms for many, many months, not just the summer. You all are familiar with the category scale for hurricanes, ranging from 1 to 5. You know typically that the higher the number, the worse the storm may be, correct? But did you know this is a wind-only scale? This scale says nothing about how much rain you may receive. It doesn't tell you how much storm surge you will get. It does not factor in how large the storm is, if the storm is slow moving like Florence, or if you will get hit by the right or worse side of the storm. Do not make your decisions based on the category only. This is a wind-only scale. It does not tell us about all of the impacts. If you lived here through Florence, you know what we mean. We want to emphasize the point again. Do not focus on just the category of the storm. Don't say I'm only going to leave if it's at least a category 2 or a cat 3. Since 2010, we've had a lot of just category 1s. Do you remember Irene? How about Florence? How about Dorian? We've had over $100 billion in damage in the United States between 2010 and 2019 from just category 1s. Any tropical cyclone can have severe impacts beyond just wind. They include rainfall, storm surge, rip currents, wind, and tornadoes. You don't need a high category storm or even a hurricane to cause life-altering impacts. Water is what kills most people in tropical systems. Between 1963 and 2012, about 90% of deaths were related to water. Less than 10% were related to wind. Water is what kills. More recently, 83% of deaths were water-related. If you are told to evacuate, and especially if you live in a low-lying area near water, listen to local officials. Do not cross flooded roads. As you're driving, you may not realize how powerful the water is, or even if the road still exists underneath a flooded road. Storm surge is the rapid rise of water ahead of any tropical system. We experienced severe storm surge with both Florence and Dorian. Florence showed how far inland the water can rise, with New Bern being impacted by water off the Pamlico Sound and up the Neuse River. Dorian showed how fast the water can rise, with water rising over Ocracoke Island in a matter of minutes. When we show forecast peak storm surge values, know that in a reasonable worst-case scenario that this is possible along low-lying areas near the water that are normally dry. More than 3 feet of surge is life-threatening. Take these risks seriously and listen to local officials on evacuations if they are ordered. Water is very powerful and can rise very quickly as the storm surge approaches. Rip currents are another threat from any tropical system, including those well out to sea. Many people remember 2019 for Hurricane Dorian, but we lost 4 lives in North Carolina with Hurricane Lorenzo that was more than 2,000 miles away from our coastline due to dangerous rip currents. Here are some tips you can use when you're at the beach. Remember that well ahead of tropical systems or from storms well out to sea, rip currents are possible even if the actual weather is nice. Our focus so far has been water, 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 inland flooding, storm surge, rip currents. Winds are also a danger, and they can cause widespread power outages that can last for days or even weeks. When you are making a hurricane kit, ensure you have enough food, water, and medicine for at least a week. Be prepared to stay at home and be on your own for a while. Don't forget to include your pets in your hurricane plan. Last but not least is the threat from tornadoes. Any landfalling tropical system can cause tornadoes. These tornadoes can produce isolated areas of enhanced damage. Sometimes, like with Dorian, they can occur well away from the center of the storm or before the actual landfall. Anytime the outer bands of a storm reach our area, we can be at risk for tornadoes. To emphasize this point, this is a map of tornadoes that occurred during Florence. We know the landfall of Florence was down toward Wilmington, but notice the amount of tornadoes across eastern North Carolina, and some were very far away, all the way up to Richmond. With the tornado risk, always have multiple ways to receive warnings, and if you choose to stay at home, know where to go in the lowest level of your home, away from windows, to protect yourself if a tornado warning has been issued. Up until now, we talked mainly about storm preparedness before the storm and during the storm itself. Don't let your guard down afterwards. As you return, do not travel around barricades or closed roads. Flooding may be an issue in our area for days and weeks after the storm departs. If you're at home without power, know how to properly use a generator. In the last 4 years, we've lost more people due to carbon monoxide poisoning than we have from storm surge. Again, know how to use a generator if you're using one at home when the power is out. We hope you learned a few things from this video. Please do us a favor. Teach your neighbors something you learned new today. Share this with a friend. The new person that moved next door, talk to them about preparedness. Teach them to not focus on just the category of the storm. Explain to them all of the impacts we can have in our area. If you have comments or questions, please shoot me an email. Thank you for watching.